Hey guys, welcome back to Self-Made. I'm Grant Thompson.
And I'm Kris Krohn, and today we're going to be talking about video editing software. What should you be using when you're brand new to YouTube and cranking out? All right, listen, I'm positive that Grant, in his true style, is going to find a way to turn this into a really lengthy video, but I just want to show that you can really sum it up in 30 seconds. That for me, the absolute best video editing software, it's called Woodbury. And he basically just does it all for me. I really don't understand how the team works and how they crank that out, but
I was going to ask you how much editing experience do you actually have?
So I've done iMovie. I've made some really fun, like, hey, I took a trip and I made a video, but no, Woodbury is my editing software. It's awesome. Really awesome.
See, that's fast and efficient.
But by the way, it's not something you can download very easily, but Nate, come over here with your towel over your head to protect your head from the, he's our towel head. So by the way, this is my video software. He's really awesome. I don't mean to objectify you, but I might be a little bit. And if you want to actually know how to get Woodbury software, then you actually want to head over to the website and say, hey, I'm like Kris. I'm a lazy dude that just wants it done for me.
Done for you, yes, that's right. And you know, that is a good option. I've always heard that the smart people hire people to do that kind of work.
Thanks, man. Now I don't feel so lazy.
I just have this inherent need to try things for myself. I have to do it for myself. I have to know how it works. So I've taken the hard road, and I've been through, a lot of my own training. So I've done the Windows Movie Maker. I've played with iMovie. I've played with a lot of different software that was $20 or $50. And I just want to say that if you're going to get serious about YouTube, it is a good idea to invest in some good software. If you've never done editing, maybe iMovie or some free editing software is good just to dip your toes in the water and go through the learning curve. But when you're ready to get serious, you need to get something like Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro. I'm going to talk on each of these. Ever since the beginning, I reached out to Devin Supertramp, everyone else I knew who was on YouTube, and everyone was telling me the software you use is Adobe Premiere Pro. It can do everything, and if you have the After Effects plugin, you can make anything that Hollywood makes. And that's true. It has the ability to do anything, but it's not very easy to use. There is a learning curve. There's a lot of tutorials online, luckily, but there is a learning curve to using it, but it can do anything. Now, Final Cut Pro, I have no experience using, but the editor one of the editors that I brought on originally about 2 years ago, that's all he used was Final Cut. And the cool thing about Final Cut is you could actually do all your editing just with the keyboard. You'd never have to touch the mouse. You could skip forward, you could cut, you could pull things back. It seemed very intuitive. You could lock things into place, and it just seemed like for the average person, it's probably a lot more user-friendly, especially if you're going to be vlogging, you're sitting on an airplane and you want to be editing, you can do it all on your keyboard. As long as you learn all the shortcuts, of course. Now, personally, I've never used Final Cut, so I can't speak to it personally, but I do know other creators out there like Dan from What's Inside. He edits the videos on his family vlog channel with Final Cut, and they've got filters they can put on there. You could just make a really awesome professional-looking video all in-house. Plus, if you're using the Apple software like an iMac or a MacBook Pro, it's going to be very friendly and very compatible with that to begin with. So if I were going to go back to the beginning, I might flirt with Final Cut Pro.
All right.
Just because of how easy and user-friendly I've heard
I know that's what my team uses. So I've got a whole editor team that works on a number of other of my businesses. And so I've seen it when they're actually making it and they're putting in the transition cuts and then layering the music on top and then doing the fadeaways and putting the vignettes on it. Yeah. And it seems super, super competent software for producing really great video.
And that's the thing is, like, pretty much every editing software is going to have those three components. You're going to take your footage, you're going to chop out the bits you don't like, keep the parts you do like, put them together, and put some kind of a transition in there and maybe a little bit of music.
I think the thing that I think is maybe most important here is it's not so much about the software versus what something that Grant said that's really important, which is part of being self-made is go out there and make it happen. And so if you're allowing complicated software to get in your way, we would rather you choose an option that actually gets it done as opposed to just saying, well, if I am going to do it, I need to do it this way, and then I need to wait to learn it. And, really, it's so important that you're never going to get launched unless you can find a way to make it happen. And YouTube, you got to wear a lot of hats, man. Like, you might be in the beginning. It's like, all right, I set up the tripod and I hit start. I'm the filmer, and then I'm also the talent, and then I'm also the editor. So I think make sure that whatever's going to happen, that you just get it done. And then as you get launched and as you start picking up some momentum, you can always upgrade your system to something a little bit fancier.
All right. Now, the cons of Final Cut Pro is that all the project files and everything are stored together. So your project file is a massive amount of data, and you couldn't just email that to somebody. It's huge. We use Adobe Premiere Pro, and the editing system I have is all my editors work from different locations from their homes.
Yeah.
When we pass a project file, we're talking like kilobytes. It's just a very, very tiny project file. They load it up, and as long as they have all the footage and the assets, everything's ready to go. I'm not sure which system is better.
Yeah.
Because we can make a quick edit to a project file, pass it to the next guy, he can open it up and he's got everything ready to go, rather than downloading a monster file that will take hours and hours and hours.
Dude, and I gotta tell you, something I love putting in our videos, a little bit of what I call bonus time. I want to just do bonus time for a second, because I've noticed that there's a different software that you use when you're actually trying to get other people's opinion on what you're considering actually putting out there. So you've actually done an edit of it, and then there's a way to actually have people view it and then make some comments. How are you actually, what's the system that you're using for sharing those files and videos with other people so they can do a quick review?
That could be a whole nother video, but we use a program called Frame.io. Frame.io is a website application where we can upload videos, and between all the editors, we can watch them and we can leave notes that timestamp on the videos. So if I'm watching a video and there's a part that I don't like or it's not technically accurate, I can leave a quick note, and the editors can download those notes right into Adobe Premiere Pro, and it will show up as markers that they can go and address right in the system itself. So.
Never hurts to actually get someone else's opinion when you're actually getting ready to push something out. You know, you're creating something that you think people want, but never hurts to get a little sampling and send it to like 5 or 10 people and just say, hey, will you watch this, and just drop a couple of comments in there, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to help you actually refine the system. That and watching the comments of people once your video has actually been pushed live, so that they can also give you some feedback.
So at the end of the day, Adobe Premiere Pro is what we use. It's what all my systems are based on. It's been a reliable system. You know, it does have its glitches and its bugs from time to time, but we're consistently cranking out 10 to 20 minute videos every single day, at least 5 days a week, and we have been doing that for the last 2.5 years, and before that, I've used it ever since the beginning. So I've been using Premiere Pro for 6 years straight, and I'm still very happy with it. I love how it works, and once you get the basics down of how it operates, it's really not that difficult. It's just that initial learning curve. So if you're thinking about getting into videos for the first time, you might want to start off with something like iMovie or some free option, just so you can get the idea of cutting video, putting it together, and making something simple. But when you're ready to get serious, you need a program like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro, because you'll have different layering options, so you can add multiple layers of music, sound effects. And remember how people have pop-up windows that pop up? The reason you can do that is because you have different layers on the editing software where you can add those different windows. As many layers as you want, you can add animations, and if you use After Effects, you can just add some really crazy special effects that you just don't find anywhere else, So that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Boom.
Find what works well for you. Final Cut Pro is going to be a one-time fee. I think it's like $300 on iTunes. You download it and you're done. Whereas Adobe Premiere Pro, they have like a Creative Cloud option where it's going to cost you between $20 to $50 a month, and it's a subscription service. So every month, it's automatically deducted, and you'll have access to Photoshop, you'll have access to Adobe Audition, which we use to edit our audio, and After Effects, Final Cut, or Premiere Pro, Lightroom, anything else that you might want to use. For about $50 a month, you can have access to some really powerful tools that all the professionals use.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us today here at Selfmade, talking about editing, and I think we've gotten some really good advice. Most important thing is go out there and make it happen.
If this guidance is working for you, rather than bite-sized pieces like these videos, you might want to click the link in the description where we've got our full Selfmade course laid out for you to get you trained on how to do YouTube right.
Because when would now be the right time for you to click that?
Probably right now.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
See you there.